I decided to go with option one of the assignment, and I chose to go with Cate Blanchett as my subject just to dive into. And the reason that I chose her is because I've always really respected her. I've always really thought that she brought a sort of magic to every role that she plays. Everything she does, she really blends into it. So when I was doing the module work and it said that she was a method actress and one of the only women that does that, that was so interesting to me. So I decided to research her in bigger depth. So Kate follows the classical teachings of Stanislavski, and the notion that you truly encompass the role. She really steps into the character's shoes and really doesn't view them as separate people, but as pieces of her. And she just steps right into that role, really brings it to life. And like I said before, she really just becomes a chameleon, and that's something very sought after in the Hollywood industry. She enrolled in a drama school in Australia in the 90s, and she started acting, and it immediately flourished for her. She starred as Electra and Oleana and on the Sydney stage. And then in 1998, she was cast as Elizabeth, and that really rocketed her career right off the bat because she won a BAFTA for that performance straight away, which is incredible. That sort of thing normally doesn't happen right off the bat, so that's pretty admirable. She values creating art and doing things that interest her. If it's something that she is really engaged with, she's going to do it. She doesn't really care about the commercial success of that, or if it doesn't really fit her, quote unquote, if it's not professional. Like she starred in Thor, and she did Lord of the Rings, and people kind of look down on fantasy or superhero flicks sometimes, and she carried both of those roles with a lot of grace, and she was just excited to be doing it. She said in an interview that she did not care about the success of Lord of the Rings. She didn't care what people had to say. She just really wanted to work with that specific director. She wanted to work with him, see how he was, and she thought it would be a privilege to work with him no matter what happened, and that's really interesting to me. She has a really deep respect for the industry and everybody that works with her, especially her fellow actors. She speaks very, very highly of Rooney Mara, her co-star in Carol. And she speaks very highly of everybody that she's worked with. She has a deep respect for everybody's own craft and the way that they work in the film industry, whether it's similar to her or not. She just respects it, and she's happy to be working alongside of them and making a collaborative effort to make a great film. And she talks in high regards about everybody that she's worked with, whether it be a director, an actor, or even a costume designer, a screenwriter. She just has a deep respect for everybody involved in the industry that wants to make art and create it, and I think that's very noble and wonderful. My view on her has changed a little bit just because I learned, I have a deeper understanding of her as an actress now. I always understood the way that she worked in a very like over-encompassing sense. Like I understood that she was excellent and that she was able to step into roles in a way that was very different than other actors I've seen. And she views pieces of work as blank slates, and she wants to step into that role and just begin anew every time. And she appreciates the slate that she was given, and she learns everything about that character. She spends time with that character. She learns the way that they would move, the way that they would talk, any mannerisms they have, and it gives her such a deeply fleshed out performance every time, even if it's something, like Thor. You wouldn't think that that could be a very deep role, but she brought such a depth to that character that it really stole the focal point of that movie, at least for me, and it seemed like that for a lot of people as well. So I've always really appreciated her performances and had a respect for her as an actress, but it's definitely running deeper now, and now I can watch some films that she's been in and look at them with a deeper respect and a bigger lens as to her process, and I think that's awesome.